with an African story. Then we come down to Ghana. We have a lot of issues of our own that we are facing. Let me say hearty good morning before I even start to Ambassador Sampi Ali, who is an ardent viewer of this show. He started watching from the newspaper headline segment. And to all of you that have been watching across the country, across the continent, we are in 46 other African countries. And so it goes to speak largely about how ubiquitous we are as a station. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I can assure you that you are the right place, you are the right station, you won't be disappointed. Let me run you through our topics for the day. Kagan's Ruto dismisses cabinet after protest. This story is captured in the Daily Guide. Now, post comments against Nkrumah unnecessary Kweku Baako. Let's debate economy and policies. Baumia throws challenge to Mahama. And sale of SNIT hotels. NPRA approved sale of 60% shares. Employment Minister reveals. And so these are the topics that we have found conversation worthy on the show this morning. I'll implore you to be a part of the show as usual. Make sure you send me your messages, send me your texts. The WhatsApp and text line has been displayed on your screen. 0559 919 802. 0559 919 802. That is the text line. Make sure you send me messages. Your messages, I'll be more than glad to read them as the show progresses. I've been joined this morning by let me actually start with Ebu Bakman. Ebu Bakman has been a regular over the past few weeks, and so Ebu, good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you're fine.
Charlie,
you've been traveling around the country.
Yes.
Working for the movement for change. How has it been so far?
Fantastic. I've always been telling people that what is going to happen will shock a lot of people. Because some people think politics is all about what happens in Accra. And so they think if they can satisfy the people in Accra and some major cities, that is it. But I can tell you, if you go to most of our rural communities, the kind of things that they are going through, people are poised to vote for a change. And so Ghanaians are going to wake up to something that they've never experienced in our political or electoral process before. And so it's been wonderful touring or visiting communities that are mostly neglected to hear from them the things that they go through and why they would vote for a change. And so it's been quite interesting. I'm just hoping that God will continue to give us the energy and the ability to move and to work hard for the movement to bring about the kind of change that we desire to see in this country. A change of a political system that impoverishes the majority of the people and enriches a few. That's the system some of us are fighting to change. And it's been wonderful.
Right. I haven't seen Nana Ntoamrechi in a long time. I mean, for the very first time this year, if I'm not wrong. Nana, it's been a long time. Afishapa.
How are things?
Very well. How are things on your side?
Well, you can't complain.
It could be better.
Well, you can't complain. They said we should manage ourselves. So we are trying to manage ourselves.
Right.
Even we have asked them to manage the economy for us, but they are also telling us that, look, it is hard time. You guys manage yourselves. So we are trying to manage ourselves. And with all the hardship and what is happening in the country, I think that we are close to, making history by kicking the elephant back to the bush. So we are on course.
Right.
We have been running around villages and, trying to educate the masses out there why they should kick out this government because they are not doing the needful. And sometimes you go to remote areas and you realize that people are really suffering. I quite remember I went to a village. Somebody came to me and said, Nana, can I get 2 cedis to buy salt? Salt. And that should tell you the extent of how people are suffering. No wonder Statistical Service came out with a survey that over 7.3 million Ghanaians are poor. So if you are the government of the day and a survey comes out that your people, out of 30.8 million people, 7.3 are poor, that should tell you the kind of managers we have in this country.
Right.
So for us, we'll continue to do our part. It is up to the electorate to also decide and vote wisely, because when the elephant is in the house, they bring distraction.
Right. Thank you very much, Nana Amici. Let me proceed to Alhaji ABF Hussein, a man for whom I have a lot of respect, the Member of Parliament for the Sagnarigu constituency. Alhaji, good morning.
Good morning.
It's always a pleasure to be in your company.
Now say assalamu alaikum to you and to my brothers and comrades here, who every morning you endeavor to be here to speak for the millions of voiceless people across the length and breadth of this country. And sometimes we take some things for granted. That I want to commend you for the very good work you and Pan-Africa, the technical people, do for this country. And I cannot say it any better than my comrades have put it. To listen to the millions of suffering people in this country, people who bless, and I can bear eloquent testimony to what they are saying, because when I get to my constituency, it's a sad reflection of what is going on. Hundreds of thousands of people are being thrown deeper into the throes of poverty as the economy deteriorates, and it's sad to listen to this government, this hopelessly uninspiring government, and its apparatchiks and spokespersons telling us we've turned the corner when things are really getting worse by the day. You remember when they were talking about this issue? We are going to we are taking some tranche, and very soon the second tranche that will flow, everything will stabilize. My brother, today I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to take a bite, but my worst fears is that the government is digging its heels even deeper into the abyss by refusing to even listen to wise counsel, basic fundamental wise counsel. Yesterday when I heard that they had we called the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations to come to the house to speak to this. We were shocked as members of Parliament when they appear to be rather giving green light to Senate to go ahead with that lootocracy they are doing, to openly want to loot resources of the state, and when the people are up in arms, instead of eating humble pie. I'm sure we are discussing Kenya.
Yeah.
You see what the Kenyan president has done?
Yeah.
This is a true consummate Democrat who listens to the cries of his people. In this country, and the Nana Akufo-Addo, they rather tell you, what can you do? Who do the worst? You see them?
Right.
So Ghanaians must wake up. What is happening in Kenya is an eye-opener for us. And as Ghanaians, we must begin to take, and especially I've been imploring the youth, the future and the country is for them. If they sit down and allow everything to be looted, you are accounts. You say omujejereje, or how do you say it? I don't know how to say it very well.
But on that note, Elijah, I'm commencing with you on the situation in Kenya. That's obviously because you even started it in your initial comments. The Kenyan President William Ruto has dissolved Parliament. Has dissolved cabinet, I beg your pardon, and of course it's as a result of that protest by the Gen Zs, they call themselves in Kenya, that protest that has actually or consequently made William Ruto dissolve cabinet. Before that, he also rescinded the decision to assent to the tax bill, and so it appears that he is indeed listening to the people, the Kenyan people. He's actually bowing to their pressures. We do not see that happen here, by the way. But Alhaji, I'm taking your thoughts on this.
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to the Bridgina people of the Sanaro constituency, whom I didn't mention, and then also our viewers, the avid, committed, dedicated viewers of Pan Africa out there. Bless, with your permission, I'd like to start by quoting my right honorable speaker, Honorable ASK Bagby, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagby, the venerable Speaker of Parliament. I salute him this morning, and I want to quote him. He says, "The power of the people is greater than the people in power." I'll take it again, that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. In other words, power and sovereignty belongs to the people. Power arises from the will, support, and sustenance of the people. Without the people, nobody can pretend to exercise power, especially when you are even pretending that you are right and actions, when the real owner of the power tells you this is what he wants. And clearly that is what is unfolding in Kenya. Without seeming to justify whatever actions President Ruto is taking, I want to at least salute him for having the courage and the vision to listen to the people. You see the contrast with what is happening in Ghana. When that bill was passed by Parliament, and let us be very clear about it, the constitutions of theirs and like ours is what, when the bill passes its final stage in Parliament, it's now sent to the President for assent. So it is a presidential assent that converts it into a law. When, against the body of public opinion, he saw that the good people of Kenya did not want this law because it was going to impose additional excruciating hardships on the people. More taxes means more hardship. You are already contending with very difficult situations of life. And then you add more taxes. I've been saying it every day, Bless, that if you cannot even carry twigs and they add logs to your load, it's like crushing you. So clearly, the people of Kenya had seen that no, additional taxes coming at this time was almost inexorably going to lead to unspeakable hardship, more unspeakable hardship for the people. And so rightly so, they poured onto the streets, made their voices heard, and carried the fight to the seat of government. And President Ruto yielded by first broadcasting to the nation, as acknowledging the weaknesses of government itself and pleading with Kenyans to bear with them to see how things come out, but had given an assurance that further actions were going to follow. Bless, he did something that no Kenyan leader and many African leaders don't do. He went onto the internet and engaged the youth directly, with one of the youth monitoring that process, taking control of that process of conversation he had with the youth. And through that, he got a better understanding of what is actually happening in the country and the feelings of the Kenyan people. And so has gone ahead further to make an unprecedented political move. Never in the annals of Kenyan history, I will even say perhaps in the history of the continent, have you had almost the entire cabinet dissolve. An entire cabinet, which is, Ruto, I think it's less than 2 years or just about 2 years in government, dissolve the cabinet. Okay? I hear it's just about some 2 people left. His deputy, who he cannot fire. Constitutionally, is like a vice president. He cannot fire him. And then one other cabinet, senior cabinet second. That's all. All the rest have lost their jobs. And not only that, he's moving to form a government of national unity, to bring everybody on board, because he realizes that where Kenya is today, it needs the collective effort of every Kenyan. He needs the support of every Kenyan to be on board so that the country can come out of the crisis. And not only that, but make further progress. These are patriots who love their country. Make that comparison with what is happening here. When Ghanaians say they don't want e-levy, the president says whether you like it or not, it will come. And he will force it down our throats. When Ghanaians say we don't want LGBTQ, he will make sure that even when they are going to send the bill, he will get somebody to go to court to go and stop it. And that he is not prepared to sign it. He is even taking the unprecedented step of making sure that Parliament does not even communicate the matter to him. Never in the annals of our country's history have we seen such level of abuse and the slighting of the good people of this country. So compare the two situations. Look at a President Ruto, who in the face of this condescends, listens to the people. That's what the good people who put him in office want. Here, they will tell you in your face. They'll go to hell. They don't mind. They won't even listen to you. What can you do? So this is what is thrown at us Ghanaians. And I want Ghanaians, especially our youth, to wake up. And I've been saying to our political actors, I'm one of them, that if we don't rise up and do something about these creeping problems that are coming, one day they'll beat all of us. Our friends came from, there was a parliamentary delegation coming from Ghana to Kenya. Some of our MPs were there. Yeah. Unfortunately, they were caught. In the distance, when they came, my brother, they told us some harrowing tales of the near miss that Ghanaian MPs would have been whipped along with Kenyan MPs without any distinction, because they will not even know that these are Ghanaian MPs. In fact, some of them would have even want to give them some few lashes to come home and remind our people about some of the things. But this is what is happening. Most unfortunate. So I see what President Ruto is doing as a pace-setting listen for our democratic process. That governments at the end of the day must listen to the will of the people. They are not there on their own accord. You don't ride on the backs of the people to power, giving them a plethora of promises and others, and you come and you inflict additional excruciating hardships on them. It's intolerable. And so, notwithstanding what had happened earlier, it could have been avoided. President Ruto, from the very onset, could have even refused to send those things to Parliament. And then the loss of life that was occasioned, 40 plus or so people lost their lives, could have been avoided. Very tragic, very sad, regrettable. But nevertheless, better late than never. The steps President Ruto is taking are very commendable. And in Africa, I will see it as a novelty that is worth emulating. And so, they say that if you don't know death, look at sleep. Those who are watching the sidelines, those who are in similar positions, must take judicious notice of what is happening in Kenya. I often hear some comments, oh, as for Ghanaians, we are such nice people and others. That is a lie. My brother, don't leave you can't be holding a stick and let a dog bite you. Don't let us think that what is happening in Kenya and others can never happen here. It should be a wake-up call for us to get up and listen to the people, the good people of this country, who are in a terrible mess today under this hopelessly uninspiring government. And I want to think that wise people learn from the mistakes of others who are unfortunate to be caught in situations that they didn't even plan. And so for me, Kenya is replete with useful political lessons, which both government and people, and especially, like I say, bless, you are among them, the youth, you people, the country, this country and other parts of Africa are for you, the youth. If you sit down and this thing is totally destroyed, tomorrow you will come and inherit it. So I think that is where I want to go.
Right.
Our people say that if you don't want to see calamity, you must seek remedy from your feet.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Abi Hussaini. Let me jump Bobakman and come to Nana. Nananto.
Yes, please. Let me say a very good morning to your viewers out there and to Alhaji. It's been a while.
Nana,
yes,
you said you invited me to come to your jurisdiction and pay a courtesy call. So I'm still waiting.
Honorable, yes, I will do that. I have to make sure my roads are fixed before I invite you. Other than that,
I must come and see
experience it.
So to be honest with you, this month ending, we are organizing a demonstration for the government in power to fix our roads. In fact, they did something last March because of the Independence Day celebration in Kofodia. And what they did, if you use the road now, you ask yourself, why? There are manholes in the middle of the road. Simply because they just want to go and celebrate the 6th March in Kofodia. So let's just go and put something on the road so that people will think that, oh, we have asphalted the place. Anyway, and a very good morning to my brother, Ebu, sorry. You know, Honorable has said enough. The only thing I would tell the good people of Ghana is that it is time for the youth to rise up. I always say, this country does not belong to the old men. It belongs to the youth. That is why Honorable told you that, look, you are a young man. This country belongs to you. Sometimes, when things are going bad, instead of the young ones to come out and talk about it, they rather come out to defend the old men. Meanwhile, you ask yourself, they have already done their part. It is left with me and yourself to do what we can also do. But at the end of the day, we end up defending the old people. What happened in Kenya is an eye-opener to all of us. Sometimes demonstrations are being held in this country, and before we even embark on that protest, the leadership and those who we claim have what it takes have been able to sort some people out. So instead of them to come out in their numbers, you see people will not even come out. So what happened in Kenya, there was no clear leader. So you don't even know who to go to negotiate. And if we are able to do same in Ghana, our leaders will set up. I keep saying, when we put pressure on them, they will set up. There are some instances where they want to introduce some bills, they want to bring about some laws. But when we rise up, you realize that, okay, they will go back and make amendments. And so we need to rise up. For me, it's an eye-opener. And whenever the youth, we decide to go out there. I was once talking on a sister radio station and I said, me, I'm still a youth. Somebody said, oh, what are you talking about? I said, look, I'm a young man. I'm not, yes, I am not as old as you see. So when anything that involves the youth, you see me there. That is why I'm leading the people of Adoso to demonstrate against bad roads. As we speak, do you know that the people of Ekwapim North, we don't have an MP? If I tell you we don't have an MP, you will be surprised. Because for the past 1.5 years, we don't even know who our MP is.
Why?
You are asking me why? The MP has moved from a Kropon constituency to Ogakwenof.
Yeah.
And nobody is talking about anything. All that we are doing, or all that the people of a Kropon constituency is doing, is that they rather go and speak to somebody who has not even been to parliament. And so when issues come, they fall on that person. We don't even know whether our common fund has been given to her and she has used it in a different constituency. We don't even know. You understand? So sometimes you ask yourself, how do our laws work? Somebody has contested 8 years in a constituency. All of a sudden, he moves to another constituency and we are silent. We are quiet, honorable. So, well, he said the law. So we are watching. We are all watching. A day will come, and it is coming because it started in the Arab land. Now it is moving to East Africa. And so very soon it will get to West Africa. And our leaders should be on their guards because the youth nowadays are not in those days youth that we used to know. That's my comments for now.
Right.
Yeah, bless. Let me greet Mr. Alan Chamartin and his wife and the members of the movement this morning. May the good Lord himself continue to strengthen and give us the courage to fight the kind of fight we are fighting for our motherland. Bless, let me start off with this quotation, something that the first president of America, George Washington, said in 1796. I call it a prophetic statement that was made by him. In his farewell address, after being an independent president for 8 years, he had this to say to Americans. He said, "Let me now take a more comprehensive view and warn you in a most solemn manner against the baneful effects of the spirit of party generally." The baneful effects of the spirit of party generally. What has been the bane of our development as a continent after we sacked the white man is this spirit of party. The spirit of party. I don't know how we have learned democracy. The true meaning of democracy we learned in school, which was given to us by Abraham Lincoln, says democracy can be defined as government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That's what we were taught. But growing up, I don't see this definition of democracy in any part of Africa. What you have is government of a few people by the majority of the people, because majority vote to elect the person, and for a few people because they share the booty. That is what is killing the continent of Africa. So what is happening in Kenya is quite interesting. For me, the youth in Kenya have demonstrated to the rest of Africa that it doesn't take a government to determine whether it is performing or not performing. It takes the people. As Alhaji Raleigh said, and as he quoted the speaker, the President Ruto, the power he wields is the collective power of the people. So the people own the power. He is a caretaker of the people's power. And therefore, they were expecting him to do things to benefit them and not a few in Kenya. For me, it's a great lesson. Most of the youth out there were unemployed. Interestingly, the economic situation in Kenya is far better than what we have in Ghana. But we seem comfortable with what is happening in Ghana. I've always asked myself, are we serious enough? Have we been angry enough as a people? That we find ourselves in a society where people we know about 7 years ago, 6 years ago, people who could barely buy a car tie, people who could barely rent one room for themselves, within a matter of 7 years, 6 years, they own houses and cars, and nobody questions them. Because the system allows it. A system that only enriches few at the expense of the majority of the people can never be said to be a good system. Can never ever be said to be a good system. And that is what we are experiencing in Africa. And that is why the youth in Africa particularly must rise to the occasion. We must demand accountability like never before. You must ask our leaders to deliver on their promises. We don't force them to tell us what they want to do for us. Right. So if at any point in time you are doing something contrary to what you yourself promised to do, the youth must rise up and demand accountability and demand performance. We can't continue to use taxpayers' money to feed a few people in this country. We can never do that. I've always said, I don't know when the good Lord will call me, but I have 4 kids. With this system that is happening, with this current system, I don't see my kids surviving in this system. No, I don't see. The future is not clear for the youth in this country. That is why they will impoverish you, make you poor, give you a mega salary, make you experience high cost of living, low standard of living, and give you free SHS and rub it in your face as if you are not capable of paying your child's school fees. I would rather want a system that will pay me well, that will make cost of living low, so that I can make savings at the end of every month and pay my child's school fees and be proud parent and say, I paid my child's school fees. That's the system I believe Ghanaians need. So therefore, if the government is even come in, then maybe government will meet me halfway. But I should be able to say that I paid my child's school fees. My mother never attended school. My mom was stark illiterate. She paid my school fees from class 1 to the university. So Ghanaian women are capable of doing it. If you give them the opportunity, they will do it. I remember, I used to laugh. My mom, one day, had gone out, I came, she was holding a paper. She had kept the paper, she thought it was a very important paper, but because she couldn't read. Then when I came, he said, Ebo, paper be when I watched it, I felt sad. But I was excited because that illiterate woman was able to pay my school fees. I remember she would go and escort me when I was going to school sometimes, because I was not interested in going to school anyway. Because I mean, we were from the coastal area, so we were much interested in. Yeah. So I'm saying that if a government can create an environment that is good for Ghanaians, parents will be able to pay their children's school fees. Don't make us poor. Don't enrich yourself, make us poor, and give us free education and rub it in our faces as if you're incapable. You see, so bless. What is happening in Kenya? I'm happy my junior in school, St. Augustine's, Afenyo Makin, said we should learn a lesson from it. You shouldn't sit down for demonstrations to take place before we learn a lesson. The leaders themselves, especially those in parliament, they should begin to demonstrate to us that they've taken a cue from what is happening in Kenya through their lifestyle. Why don't you do lifestyle audit in this country? My candidate, Mr. Alan Chamanti, one of the things he has said he will do is lifestyle audit. People who come to office and within a matter of 5 years, 6 years, they own houses, must be able to tell us how they made money to build those houses, how they made money to buy those cars. That is the system. I'm so excited this morning when I read that the Kenyan president has decided to follow the order of the day. The order of the day now is a government of national unity. Check even in Europe. Check what has happened in South Africa. Check what has happened in France. Now, nations are moving towards a government of national unity because a system that allows the winner to take all. NPP wins, everything is for NPP. Contracts, scholarships, recruitment to security services, everything is for NPP. Not even NPP as a whole. Very few at the top. The same NPP wins, the same happens. How can you as a nation continue like that? This is commonsensical. How can you continue to go by a system like that and expect that you will develop or grow? If you go to America, it may work for them because American system works. The president doesn't have the kind of authority and power our president has because of the constitution. It doesn't work for us. So a government of national unity, for Christ's sake, is what we need in this country. So that every Ghanaian will feel part of the government. So that the brightest brains and minds of this country and the talent of this country can be put to work. Not square pegs in one hole. People hold candidates' water bottle and after winning their cabinet ministers. And look at what is happening. Ruto says one of the reasons why he has dissolved, more or less, he has dissolved his cabinet is the issue of performance. The issue of performance and efficiency. And so, on what basis are we determining whether this government is doing well or not? It's by way of how we feel, how we live, our standard of living, the cost of living, the cost of doing business in Ghana. It's highly unthinkable. Go and check the interest rate in Kenya. It's far lower than interest rate in Ghana. Go and check their inflation rate. Go and even check their exchange rate. Far better than ours. Yet they've seen the need to complain. But we are sitting aloof, allowing the politicians, people that we vote for, to come and take for us, or to come and care for us. They rather are the ones we are serving. They are not serving us. And that is a lesson we need to learn. The Ghanaian youth, especially those who have completed school 6, 7 years, 5 years, 4 years, and were unemployed. This is your chance to change this system. This system that allows a few people to become rich. And unfortunately, some of these unemployed youth are prepared to kill themselves for the politician. The Kenyan youth were prepared to kill themselves for themselves. That's the difference. Let's not kill, don't ever kill yourself for any politician. They don't care about you. They are caring about the next contract and how much it will bring them and how they will send their children children abroad to go in school and go and live big in the houses that they've bought in those areas. So don't ever kill yourself for any politician. I'm telling you, I have been a youth organizer of NPP for 8 years. I stopped politics 2010. It didn't make sense to me. I've come back because of the things I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. You live a country where you say a few people called politicians can become rich and all of us become poor and we serve them like slaves. It must never happen.
Thank you very much, Bachman. That was an impassioned, submission there on the issues confronting our country. Right. I'll do a few messages, then we'll proceed to our next topic. Accept my warmest regards to you and your panel this morning on the recent developments in Kenya. Permit me to quote from Marianne Williamson in her book, Reflections of a Course of Miracles. The Kenyan people have just demonstrated Marianne's words that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Let Akufo-Addo and his government take a cue from that blood, from that blood that runs through the veins of Kenyans. Is the same blood that runs through the veins of Ghanaians, and we are capable of rising up. We are being pushed so much, and we cannot continue to be pushed. We will definitely rebel. Alasan Umeru from Dabali Tamale, thank you so much for your message. Let me read this one also, which says that, good morning, bless. My name is Wumpini from Yendi. Okay, your message isn't so clear. Your message isn't so clear. It's unimaginable fact that Ghana scholars, let alone Ghanaian scholars who deny the fact that Osei Tutu the First is the greatest king of Asante Kingdom because he is endowed with wisdom and guts. Please do not call the text line, I beg you. I can't answer calls. It's a long message. I think I'll find time to read it later. Let me move on to WhatsApp. Good morning, Pan-African TV. I'm Livingston. How many of these politicians' children attend this free senior high school? That's a very good question, by the way. The great flood of tears that we've cried over the years has washed away our fears and strengthened our pride. Very soon, the youth of Ghana will no longer hear your command. We will seize control from your hand and fan the flame of our anger and pain, and you feel the shame of what you have done in the name of politics. We'll fight for the rights to be free, and we'll build our country. Please let all Ghanaian politicians listen carefully to the lyrics of UB40's Sing Our Own Song. Saul from Kumasi. Thank you, Saul, for your message. This one here also says, good morning, Pan-Africa TV. I miss Nana Nto Amrichi, the chief who does politics, as Solo would put it. Right. Thank you so much for your message. Nana has heard you. Good morning. Okay, I think I've done this one. Good morning, blessing panel. How can a mate calling a professional driver with a valid license for a debate? Is he coming with his own questions? JDM is not cheap like him. The mate, Eliasu from Tamale Central, sent this one. Let me say special greetings to those of you watching on YouTube. There are lots of you watching on YouTube, and I'm extremely grateful for your time this morning. Also, our Facebook viewers, Komensa Pilatu, Musa Batoa, Philippe Champon, Baba Awinkagwa Salifu, and all of you doing the watching. Mazi Gentin, Humeru, Alasan, Dabali, all of you, Charles Thompson as well. Thank you so much for keeping it here on Pan-African Television. Let's proceed to our next topic for conversation. I'm going to stay with you, Ebo Bakman, on our next topic. And of course, we do know for a fact that 3 days ago was the unveiling ceremony of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the running mate to the flag bearer of the Patriotic Party. And we all expected a normal event, unbeknownst to us that there was going to be some incendiary comments that would be made by the running mate. And of course, it has stoked conversation. A lot of people have been commenting on it. Political parties, individuals, civil society organizations have been speaking about it. I know the movement, I've heard from the movement for change. A lot of your communicators have also shared their thoughts on it. But what particularly do you think of what transpired in Menchia?
Bless. You see, I didn't. For a reason. Bless, honestly, we are cheapening our politics. Sadly so, and sadly so. You see, the highest office of the land, which is the presidency, is an office that has to be revered and protected by Ghanaians. Because whoever sits in that office, his decisions can make or not make you in terms of how you will live in terms of what you eat, what you wear, in terms of whether you work or not, depends heavily on his actions and inactions, his decisions or the otherwise. So it is a very important office, and therefore those who want to occupy that office must be people who would have to be measured with the highest form of standard, that their character, their credibility, their competence must never be in doubt. They would have to be people of a certain class in terms of thinking, in terms of even emotional maturity, in terms of everything, because you are going to be, any other person in this country is going to follow you as a leader. And so those who contest or who desire to occupy that office must always live or must lead exemplary lives. On that note, I come to what happened. And even before I come to that, we are talking about a particular person, Dr. Matthew Pokropempe Napu. I was shocked, I didn't know, but I was shocked to read that when he was a minister, he took government scholarship to study or to do a 3-month course at Harvard. And the cost of that 3 months program he did could have funded 6 MPhil students, could have trained 6 MPhil students. I was shocked. And when he was questioned about it, do you know what he said? It is not even what he did, but what he said after he had been questioned. He said, if he gets the opportunity, he would do it again. And if this is not arrogance, what else can be defined as arrogance? And so we are dealing with a person in whose nature the word arrogance rests. And so to the point that even when he had been admonished by the great king, less than 1 hour or 2 hours, the same person goes out there and tell the whole country, tell all of us the kind of person he is. You see, it is not about what he said. He has his own opinion. He can say whatever, he can express his opinion the way he likes. But how he said it is what makes the situation worrying, if you like. So, the office of the president and the vice president, between them is just a breath away. Anyone who is contesting as a running mate of any of the parties or any political organization is a potential vice president. And anyone who is a potential vice president is a potential president. Because of what we had with Mr. Mahama and Professor Thomas, how Mr. Mahama one day slept, woke up in the morning, he was the president of Ghana. In American history, there was a president in America who never contested an election. He became president without contesting an election. I think he was a speaker or something, and the president, he was appointed. Check the history. It was appointed then. I think during the Watergate period, he was appointed, and then the vice president, Nixon was removed. Then he became the president or something like that. He never. So it is possible for somebody to become president without being elected. That's Ford. Yeah, Ford, yeah.
Ford took over after he became the Watergate scandal.
Yeah. Okay.
It was his vice president who took over the...
Yeah, but even he was not part of the process that led to the election of Nixon. Yeah, he was brought in later, and then so he became president without election. Yeah. So the point I'm making is that because of the sensitivity of the position of the president, we don't have to joke. You see, we shouldn't allow political parties alone to determine for us who should become the president of Ghana. You see, the danger is that, let me tell you this, the danger we need to prevent is that because people have amassed so much wealth in these political parties, they can control the political parties completely. This delegate system, they can control it completely. So because they have money, they can mean to become the candidate of these political parties. Whether they are competent, whether they are good character, it doesn't matter. What matters is that they have money to buy the vote to become the candidate of these political parties. So we as a nation, because these political parties have elected them on their tickets, we are forced to vote for one of them to become president. That is a mistake. So what we are saying is that if Nana here is run as an independent person, and he's the most competent, the most sensible, the most visionary, and I'm contesting a political party ticket, I'm the most stupid, I'm the most insensitive, the most arrogant, because the fact that Nana is not contested on these two political parties, he can't be president, or shouldn't be president, but rather me, who has nothing to offer, should be made president because a political party elected me to be their flag bearer. And that is the system some of us are fighting against. That the presidency, everything in this, look at our constitution, the presidency is not for a political party. So why should the basis for somebody to become president be the fact that the person has been elected by a political party? No, the presidency is not for a political party, it's for a person. I've said it time and again. The certain president, even if he resigns from NPP, today he will still be president of Ghana. Because we didn't vote for NPP. We voted for him as Nanado. Let MP resign from his party. There will be by-election. Because the seat is for the party. That's the difference we need to, that is the point we need to get to. That is what will save this country from what happened in Menchia. NPP, listen to the vice president, what he said. He said Napo is the one who will help him to win the election. His emphasis was Napo is the one who will help him to win election. Not Napo is the one who will help him to govern the country properly. So the emphasis is on winning the election. And look at his comment. And I want to use the opportunity to also speak to the people of Ashanti region. One of you, Mr. Alan Chamartin, is a full-blooded Ashanti man. The mother from Ejisu, the father from Patasi. Full-blooded Ashanti man. Also wants to be president. Napo, half-blooded Ashanti man. The mother is not Ashanti. The father is an Ashanti. Also want to be running mate, boy mate to Alhaji Bawumia. Alhaji Bawumia himself has said that the position of vice president is boy. It's a mate position. So Napo is telling the whole Ashanti region, as it will feel ye. So Ashanti region, you don't deserve the presidency. That is why when Mr. Anchamante wants to be president, we fought against him. He's no more. I'm coming to be the vice president, to serve as boy to Alhaji Bawumia. That is what we deserve at this stage. That is virtually what he's telling the group of Ashanti region. So you don't like, my God. You see, so the whole thing is like, that's what I'm saying, we are cheapening the presidency. We are cheapening politics. And these people have a nice way of dancing on the stage, of entertaining you, to even forget about father you are unemployed. To even go to the extent of killing yourselves for them. But the youth must begin to think that the future of this country, whether they will have a good future for themselves, whether they will have a good future for their children, it depends on the decision they will take on the 7th of December and beyond. That is the point I wouldn't want to make on this one.
Thank you very much. Let me come to Nana. Nananto.
Yes.
Your general thoughts on what happened in Menchia with the advice, the Jubilee, and then Jubilee Park with the gaff.
Yes. It's unfortunate that sometimes we see some politicians as matured, but when you get to the grounds and you see what they are doing practically, then we realize that they are not matured. Why am I saying this? As a seasoned politician, as Napo, when his name was mentioned, some of us thought that, oh, he was bringing something different on board compared to when Baumia's name was mentioned in 2008. Everybody knew that Baumia was not a politician. And so we can forgive him some of his utterances then. But you being in this game over the years, and this is how you want to start the process, then where are we heading towards? Because for a whole matured politician like Napo, who has been in parliament for almost 4 terms, right?
Yeah.
This is his 4th term.
It's been there since 2008.
Yes. For him to stand on a platform talking as if some of these artists trying to give rap and not even communicating well to his own people tells you the kind of person he is and how the presidency is going to be run if they are given the mandate. He doesn't care. Anything that comes out of his mouth, he will say it. If even Napo were to be somebody who really respects, you have been to Otufo, he gave you an advice that, look, people are coming out with all manner of words against you, that you are arrogant, you don't respect. So don't let that thing manifest. Don't let it come to pass. In less than 6 hours, you are given a mandate. Just come and thank us. Thank the whole nation that, look, I don't even know. These are basic things that even when somebody is being given head prefect in primary school, for him to even stand in the presence of his own colleagues, he would just first of all thank them for giving him such a position. Why you don't just go on a campaign as if we Ghanaians, we don't think, as if we don't even know what is happening in this country, as if we don't know what Kwame Nkrumah has done, as if we have decided that, look, it is about hard time we trash all Nkrumah books and everything about Nkrumah. And so you're Nkrumah. Hey, is that where we've gotten to in our body politics in this country? When I saw him speaking, I said, what is happening? Because, initially, there were some people who were opposed to his name being mentioned. And I was not surprised. I was not surprised because per what we've been seeing him do, or what we've been hearing him talk about, especially about these doomsday issues and the posturing and the way he came out to tell Ghanaians that if you think there's doomsday, bring your own timetable. That thing alone should disqualify him to be a running mate. And I keep saying, any serious political party will not make him their running mate. But because they want the system to make him the running mate, they first of all went ahead to engage NIB. It is only in the history of NPP that you see an investigative body being used to identify who becomes a political party running mate. How? How is that possible? So what you have been mandated to do, you will not do that. You rather come after people who are speaking their minds on various platforms, and you just be doing the bidding of the government of the day. So, Napo is ahead of everybody. Fine, fantastic. That is the man who is ahead of everybody. So he's ahead of telling everybody what he's capable of doing. Now you are trying to defend him. Defend him on what? And you see, one thing that baffles my mind was that he had the opportunity to also go and defend himself the next day. And look at what he said. He said, "You didn't train me to be a coward." Jesus Christ. So, cowards, that is the way somebody who is not a coward speaks.
Yeah.
Me, I will speak my mind. But that doesn't mean that I cannot tell you what is on the ground. Let's be realistic here. You had the opportunity, and the next day you just went ahead and said, this is not the way you trained me. You trained me to be bold. You trained me to be courageous. Master, that is not how a courageous person should talk. That is not how somebody who respects should talk. The moment you are, you see, I can't, when you are speaking and you don't choose your words carefully, people will misquote you. And when that is done, it becomes a problem. What do you mean by saying Mo Kwame Nkrumah no? Does he know Kwame Nkrumah well? Kwame Nkrumah has been able to build tall thermal oil refinery, which is under your own ministry of energy, right? Yeah. And you have to make sure that that particular institution works well. Instead of you, under your watch, to make sure that particular tour is working perfectly, you decided to bring on board different people to come and build another refinery opposite tour. Your father built a mansion with all his vision, decided that I'm going to build a mansion because you are 10 in number. And then he built 10 solid rooms. Then you are the eldest. Instead of you to manage the house well, you come and then you build a store in front of the house. Then you started selling provisions. When you build a store and started selling provisions, you started going about saying you have done better than your father because you have built a store, you are selling provisions. Even the university that you attended to become a dentist, who built that university? Then you are telling us that Akufo-Addo has been able to do more than Nkrumah. It's a shame. And you see people clapping, cheering up.
That's the spirit of party.
Cheering up. So, because he's a party member, whatever he says, he's right.
Yeah, the spirit of party.
And when when you ask them, they should mention even 10 projects that has been completed ever since they came to power. And they will go and start projects that was initiated under the previous government. Then you come back and tell us that you have done so well than Nkrumah. They claim they have done 10,000 kilometer roads, so they've done well. 10,000 kilometer roads. Adoso is part of it. They should go to Adoso now and check. When Kwame Nkrumah constructed motorway, is over 50 years. We are still using it. There are roads that they've constructed. Which one will be able to last for more than 5 years? I keep saying this, and I will always say it. You see, what they do is that because they know they have 4 years mandate, whatever they do, they make sure that it lasts within 4 years. So after 4 years, whatever happens, they don't care. They don't have the vision to think over for a long period. So they will just come out with a policy, and after 3 getting to 4 years, then the policy will begin having problems. They said they've done free SHS. If the free SHS doesn't have any issues, why are you sending a bill to Parliament? Maybe Honorable will tell us what is in that bill. Some of us, we don't know.
Yeah,
but if
there's no bill.
There's no bill.
So why are they making noise? Why are they making noise? Why are they making noise? You see, they are good in cooking stories. So when we want to talk about current happenings in the country, they will come out with stories. And then they will just divert our minds to that particular stories. But some of us will continue to hate them. Times are hard. And this is the time we need to talk about what is happening in this country. Right. We cannot be sitting down for them to be throwing dust in their eyes. Hey, Napu said, my own grandfather has done well than in Nkrumah. His own backyard, Ekropon constituency. When you get to Latte Junction, maybe Napo has not used that road before. If he has used that road, he will not be standing on that platform and claiming that he has done well than Kwame Nkrumah. And when they ask their own Deputy General Secretary that you said, oh, he has been, Kufuor has done well than all the presidents that has come. They said, okay, so has he also done well more than Kufuor? He said, oh no, Kufuor only came to build a foundation. Then I realized that people have issues in their heads.
But the second name he was going to mention was Kufuor.
That's the point.
But the sound K came out. So you listen to the video, watch the video again.
You understand?
That is how he got choked.
You see, but one thing Ghanaians need to know is that this current administration, they don't want to hear the name Nkrumah. They don't want to hear the name John Mahama. They don't want to hear any other name apart from Kufuor and then Ekufuor. So if you listen to them carefully on platforms, anytime they want to make references, they will quickly say, oh, Kufuor started this and Ekufuor has finished it up. That is what they do. Forgetting that governance is a continuous process.
No, they don't even respect Kufuor.
Right.
You understand? Yeah. So
the truth is that they don't even respect Kufuor.
For me,
that's the truth.
For me, I think that the handlers of Napo has a lot of work to do. Yeah. Because, look, if this is the first day and this is what we are hearing or this is what we are seeing, then I only pray that before we get to the end of this month, nothing else happens. Because I wish they could change him. I only wish they could change him. Was any serious political party, what he did, and from where he has started, the way he has started, they may crash before August ending. But, well, some of us, when they crash, it's our back case. Because we need to have a country that everybody will be comfortable. You said you have been able to manage the economy well. It is not only about free SHS. Let's ask ourselves. Every day we wake up and there's a scandal. The development of the ordinary citizens, how do we see it? It is all part of the management aspect of this economy. How do people feed when they wake up? People cannot even afford 3 square meals a day. I keep saying this. Now the cost is 010. Do you know 010? In the morning they will drink water. In the afternoon they eat heavily. And then in the evening, water. That's what is happening.
And the cost of living is unbearable.
Yes. Right. And you claim you've been able to do a lot. And do you know one thing that they've been doing, that they keep telling us that they've been able to construct 10,000 kilometer roads. You know, there are inner city roads. Yeah. When those roads are done, they think that, oh, they've been able to construct roads. But you construct from the front of your house.
They don't even construct it. They just come and then pour bitumen on the surface again.
For maybe some from 6 months.
Yeah.
That is what, and that is what they did
after one rainfall.
I said that is what they did from Safu to Kofodia.
Right.
And now you cannot even use the road well. Anyway,
Right.
bless.
But just in the flag bearer or the running mate to the flag bearer, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has apologized.
Oh.
After doubling down. After doubling down.
He has come out to apologize. There's an official communique. It says, with his heading, I did not mean to denigrate former President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah or any other president. My statement last Tuesday, 9th July, in Kumasi on the performance of President Akufo-Addo has elicited varied reactions. The statement reflects my personal opinion about President Akufo-Addo's impact relative to other presidents we have had. I wish to emphasize that I never meant to disrespect our former president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, or any of our former heads of state, including my own grand uncle and mentor, Mr. John Ajekun Kufuor. I note the concerns raised after my statement. I apologize sincerely and regret any discomfort caused. Thank you, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, running mate to the MPP presidential candidate. July 12, today, 2024. Alaji ABF Husseini.
Thank you very much. Let me take judicious notice of the apology. I have always said that if you are human enough to make mistakes and you realize it and you apologize timeously, you got my word. It speaks volumes about your maturity. Because people are eating this morning, I'm very restrained to say it. That you see, if you bring out the real thing, and then later on it's followed by flatulence, what is the meaning? If you swallow yourself and then follow it up with flatulence, what have you done? And that is why I said time is very, 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 very important. You see, but first and foremost, let me anchor my presentation on my rabid condemnation of ethnic politics in this country. After over 67 years of nationhood, which part of the country you come from is now the basis upon which you are sent to the highest office of the land. Very shameful. And Ghanaians must wake up. Because ethnic politics, people hide under the facade of ethnic politics to perpetrate the misery and suffering of millions of our people. It no longer matters your competence to come and work to make life better for the people. It's which part of the country you come from. Shameful. And this is Ghana. Osajefu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. After 67 years. If this is the country, this is the politics we are going to play, shame on us. We are not going to look at the competence of the person, no matter which part of the country you come from, and that you have the capacity to make life better for us. Today, if you put an Ashanti as a president, or as vice president, and these terrible conditions persist, the Ashantis who go to bed without eating. There are Votarians also who go to bed without eating. There are the Gombes who go to bed without eating. Doesn't matter whether one of you is put there as anything. Will that person come and give you a free bonus money to alleviate your poverty? Shame. So we must jettison ethnic politics and look at the character, the competence, the innate qualities of the individual we are putting forward there. So to this extent, even from up initio, looking for people in a specific region, thinking that in fact, I am saying so that it is an insult to the good people of any region when they say that they can parade any person parading as your tribesmate, and on the basis of that tribe you go and vote. It will be a shame on you and your conscience. So Ghanaians should move away from that very stupid philosophy that holds us back. That recourse to tribalism, ethnicism, regionalism has not served any nation on the face of this earth. It's a feudal relic. And if you are still trading in feudalism in this age, no wonder backwardness, misery, and poverty will be your lot. So we must move away from that. You see, Nana, with your indulgence, you are our traditional ruler. There was somebody who wanted to ingratiate himself to his chief, perhaps in the prospect of getting a title. So he went and he said so many things. I said, Chief, your materials, including especially the iron rods, the cockroaches have started eating the iron rods. So if you give me the mandate, I can find a better place to place it. And our cockroaches eating iron rods. That is what happened on that stage. You have to ingratiate yourself. There was a Nana, a president on the stage. A lie? Yeah. There was somebody parading as a flag bearer. He's the flag bearer of the MPP, hoping that Ghanaians will vote for him. May Allah Almighty, today is Friday, may Allah Almighty never punish us again by getting Bawunya anywhere close. Because I think the 8 years of excruciating punishment by Nana Akufo-Addo, Allah Almighty will pray is enough. Okay? The two were on the stage. And I contributed to making him a running mate. How do you show gratitude? So there's something we call politically contrived and self-serving statements that you make to ingratiate the man. So you see how Nana Akufo-Addo was gloating when he was described as the best thing that happened to Ghana. In fact, what inside him he actually meant to say was that this was the worst president in the history of our country. But he could not look him in the face and say it. This is a wise saying. I interpret what was said there as a wise saying. That if you are wise, you know that he was not telling him that he was the best. He was the worst. But he could not tell him in his face. So he will put it the other way. Because there's no way you can describe. Nana, if you were to organize a sprint race between a tortoise and a horse, I'm sure you'll be aware of the outcome from the very outset. Yeah. Comparing Nana Akufo-Addo and Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in a race, in a sprint race, it's like one between a tortoise and a horse. Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the horse, is light years away. Let me say it without any mistake. Nkrumah is beyond Ghana. Nkrumah is beyond Africa. Nkrumah is beyond the black diaspora. Nkrumah is a universal global icon. It's a global icon. It's a global icon. And no wonder, no mean an institution like the BBC described Kwame Nkrumah as the African of the millennium. Listen to that word. It's not African of the day, the year, or the decade, or the century. Or the century. The African of the millennium. A millennium is 1,000 years. In 1,000 years, there will be nobody like Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. In Africa, they are not talking about this little, small, non-viable state called Ghana. That's not what they are talking about. They are talking about the universe. So you don't come and compare political midgets like Nana Akufo-Addo to Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He doesn't come anywhere near. It's like in the academia, if you are rating between the university professor and the JSS graduate, he doesn't come near. But bless, I am not surprised. It's an unfinished project of the UP tradition. They have fought Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah for countless years. And I've said it that I was a young pioneer. When Nkrumah was overthrown, one of the days in our youth where I wept, and I think like all of us, we wept when they gathered in front of us, our young pioneer uniforms, and bent them in front of us. after the 66 coup. Okay? So, Kwame Nkrumah's status as a universal icon is long settled. Why? Just start it from our struggle for independence. Because that is where we gain our dignity as a nation. In the struggle for the along the line, after the 1948 riots, the conservative elements in the UGCC distanced themselves from the riots. They said they were not part of it. And they heaped the whole thing on Nkrumah. And Nkrumah rightly, gladly accepted it, took responsibility, and went to prison. They were afraid to sacrifice themselves to liberate this country. So that is why Kwame Nkrumah's phrase resonated among the Ghanaian people, that we prefer self-government in danger to servitude in tranquility. Okay? That set Nkrumah apart from the rest. And so that is why in the 1951 elections, Nkrumah led the CPP to a landslide victory, where even Nana Akufo-Addo's uncle, J.B. Dankwa, was soundly trashed in Ebwakwa by a people teacher. The CPP put a people teacher who beat J.B. Dankwa square. His uncle, he's been trying all this way to compare with Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He beat him hollow, a people teacher. He ran away to Fantakwa in 1954. The CPP followed them and gave him a sound thrashing. So he never won one democratic election. One, even in his own territory. So what comparison are you making with Osagyefo? Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was in prison. He never had the opportunity of going around to campaign. But he was in the hearts of the masses of these people. He won a landslide in Accra Central. Ally. So look at somebody who campaigned in his own area, did everything. He was trashed by a people teacher. Kwame Nkrumah was in prison. He won by landslide and came out to be leader of government business. You dare to compare yourselves to him? When in the run-up to independence, Ghana should actually have been independent by 1954 or latest 1956, according to the program and work program of the CPP and Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But the UP element sent a delegation to the Queen, led by his uncles and others. What did they say? That they asked the British, why are you in a hurry to leave us? These are the new people. These are the people who are now looting Ghana, nyafu, and chopping everything. They went to tell the British that, why are you in a hurry to leave us? We are not yet mature to govern ourselves. Ask the British to stay longer. So, if in the fight for independence, you want to share the same credit with Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who said independence, a self-government now. You said the British, why are the British in a hurry to leave us? They should stay. And somebody says, no, we don't want them. We are capable of looking after ourselves. And so, if we are now looking after ourselves, you want to share the same glory with the same person who led the struggle for us to free ourselves from the colonial yoke. You see the hypocrisy and double standards of these people. So they have never finished fighting Nkrumah. And even after, in the run-up to independence, the Matimi movement and all the things that they did, the bombs they threw to make the country ungovernable, you can out all those ones. These are the people who are claiming parity with Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. My brother, I can say today, and I've made that statement before, they have never come out to dispute it. Nana Akufo-Addo so despised Nkrumah that when the African Union took a decision to put Nkrumah's bust as the only bust at the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa, it took Nana Akufo-Addo to try and go and tell and convince African leaders that they should add Emperor Haile Selassie so that Nkrumah doesn't remain the only one there. Wow. I'm telling you this, and I've said it publicly. If it's not, they should come out and challenge it. That's what has happened. For them to get another bus to add to just because Nkrumah's legendary sectors had been accepted by the EU, by Africa as a whole. How dare you compare yourself to this universal icon? That is what has happened. After the legendary works, they say evidence is better than an oath. Nkrumah's works stand. Can you show me one single road that can compare to the motorway? My brother, this motorway was built in the 60s. Yeah. And after over 60 years, you can't build a road that is comparable to the motorway. Does it not speak to you about vision? What somebody did more than 60 years ago, in your modern era of today, you can't replicate. Come on. Can you compare? If you want to list the industrialization, this your Chinese motorbike companies, you go and adopt as one village, one district, one factory. Shameful. And sink state resources into those things. Can you dare compare those midget projects to what Kwame Nkrumah did? I am a proud person from the north. And I know what Nkrumah did to us, especially those of us from the north. Bless, many people don't know that long before even apartheid was instituted in South Africa, we had a mini apartheid under the colonial rule in Ghana here. If we were moving from the north to the south, in fact, the British had quarantined the north as a reservoir of cheap labor to serve the mines and the plantations in the south. So education was out of the question. So more than 100 years after education started in the south, before it came to the north, through the instrumentality of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And so not only did we have free universal secondary and other education, and that free education Nkrumah made is not like this red, yellow, and green, that traffic light, this thing we have. Yes, the payment of fees is welcome, but the entire implementation is a mess. Poor quality food, no infrastructure. You go to school for 3 weeks and come home for 2 months. What kind of education is that? No textbooks, confused curricula, so many things. What people are you training? You can't compare that to what Nkrumah and the infrastructure Nkrumah built. You cannot. My brother, so in whatever sphere of national life you want to compare, Nkrumah operated nearly get closer to a self-reliant when we were doing this import substitution economy. Today under Nana Akufo-Addo, and what they say is unprecedented. After that one, I can agree with them. It's unprecedented mess. We have never seen this level of mess by any government in the history of our country. No government in our country has so run down the economy that all rating agencies, Fitch, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, all the rating agencies, they downgraded Ghana to junk. My brother, maybe you know economics better than me. When they rate you to junk, it means what?
That's bankruptcy.
Junk. Never in our history, from 1957, has our economy been rated junk by anybody.
That's useless.
Useless. And that is under who? Under Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia. Our economy has been rated useless. We have been booted out of the capital markets. For the first time in our history, we have run away from paying our debts, from honoring our international obligations. Never in the history of our country have we been the object of derision, laughing stock in the international community. It is under Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia. So the status, like you wanted to say, well, this is the worst government in our history. I can't recall any government in our history that has so performed so abysmally like this hopelessly uninspiring Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia leadership. Never. So how dare you make that comparison? It doesn't exist in any sphere, and I'm not limiting in any sphere. If you are talking about the political decision of Osagyefo in being a lead in the international community today, even when Ghana's long-standing foreign policy of siding with the oppressed and disadvantaged nations of this world. Look at what we went and did when these people were being slaughtered in their thousands in the Gaza Strip. Okay? in international arena, policies that are progressive that Ghana has championed, he has reversed all of them. I mean, what kind of government is this? When Ghana was the beacon of hope for Africa, the mecca of the liberation forces of the continent, that helped to break the colonial yoke, it's Ghana. It was that progressive policy was initiated and implanted by Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Look, in 1986, during the Afghan war, I was done working at Ghanaian Times. I had the courtesy of being selected together with Mr. Jana Penting. He was then the editor of the Mirror, to visit Afghanistan. My brother, we went to a remote corner of a place called Bagram district, but it's a remote village. And to my shock, when a very old man saw us, he didn't know which part of Africa we came from. So we're saying Ghana. Then he said, Nkrumah. I was shocked. Together with Comrade Jana Penting, anybody who missed him can ask him. He started mentioning Nkrumah. Then he said Nkrumah, Quays. When an Arab man tells you, or this man tells you, Quays, beautiful, fine. Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in the remote corners of a place called Bagram, Nkrumah's name was resonating in that area as a hero, as a champion. Not even in your small, little, non-viable Ghana. Some people don't even know your name in some places. In your own place. How dare you compare yourself to Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? So, my brother, in all spheres, what I see going on, like I said, is just an unfinished business. But you see, if you say you want to test your strength by shaking a baobab tree, it's your head. Not only will your head shake, your body will vibrate negatively, and it will give you help. It has health implications for you. They think that they occupy the seat of government today. You can compare yourself with anybody or use that as a propaganda tool to enhance your stature. The good people of this country and Africa and the world are discerning, and they know that when it comes to Ghana, in fact, they say when they count what is, they remove fire first. When they are talking of evil, Satan is in a class of his own. When they are counting Ghanaians and Africans who have made massive contribution to the development of Africa, Nkrumah is in a class of his own. They say it's Kwame Nkrumah and the rest. So don't dare come near to Kwame Nkrumah. You are nowhere. Nowhere. If you are hungry and you blow air into your stomach and pretend to be satisfied, wait until the air escapes. You see the pangs of hunger. So for me, bless. I'm sure that it was nothing but an opportunity to ingratiate yourself to somebody who has propped you up. So you can even say the cockroaches are feeding on the iron rods in order to placate somebody.
Right.
But in real substance, there is yet an African to come up of the stature of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The BBC, who did a cross-sampling across the world and acclaimed Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as the African of the millennium. It's an eloquent testimony to the greatness of Osagyefo. Nobody, and they started it in the aftermath of the 1966 coup, burning his books, even putting people in cages and parading them on the streets of Accra and others to stop them from hailing Nkrumah. Has never worked and will never work. Osagyefo never dies. Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will never die because of what he has implanted in the hearts and minds of Africans. And he will universally be acclaimed until the end of time.
Right. Thank you very much, Alhaji Ebie Fuseni. Our time is up. We have just 3 minutes. I'll use that to read a few messages, then we say goodbye. Good morning, Bless. Honorable Fuseni is very generous in comparing Apo's outrageous words and saying that a Akufo-Addo Okay, that a tortoise is faster than a snail. So Akufo-Addo is like a snail in a race with a dark horse. Now, unfortunately, when other parties are sending their best horses in the 2024, the NPP is parading a sick, lame donkey. Their pusher portrays that they are so conceited and arrogant, vindictive and irresponsible. They show no responsibility for their shortfalls and think they are superhumans. The NPP should not forget that power is transient. Thank you so much for your message. This one here says Nkrumah was co-president with Secretary of Guinea from 1966 to 1972 and had his image on the Guinean 1,000 shillings coin. No further comments. Good morning, Africa. Seth Abloso from Accra sent this one. Thank you, Seth, for your message. Please permit me to use your platform to congratulate Honorable Samuel Abu-Jinapo and happy glorious birthday to our Savannah Regional Minister, Honorable Said Muhaz Jibril. Salifu Abu Safianu is the name from Damongo. Thank you, Salifu, and good morning to the people of Damongo. Good morning, comrades and patriots. The legendary arrogance and uncultured behavior exhibited by Napo for trying to vandalize the memory of the Osajifo by comparing him to the IMT looter, vindictive and selfish Nanado. He should know that Nkrumah was voted as the best African of the millennium by the whole. What is your Nanado's position in Africa? This man, so-called Napo, is unfit to even be a unit committee member. His statement was unguided, unfortunate and insulting. 7th December is by the corner. Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana will show them where they belong. Ayi Justice from Navrongo. Thank you, Ayi. This one here says, my humble advice to John Dramani Mahama, Matthew 7:6. Do not give dogs what is sacred, and do not know your pearls. Do not throw your pearls before swines, lest they trample them underfoot and tend to attack you. You are too humble and sacred to debate with the one calling to debate you. Don't disappoint us. Okay, thank you very much for your message. Good morning, Bless. Okay. All right. Good morning, Pan Africa. What is the basis of Napo's apology? Nanabi, Richard Anyagba, and Alu T. Jacobs, etc. So you see, that's actually this one right now. Because the whole of this week, I've had NPP communicators here on this platform. Yes, last night, I hosted Justice's Hot News in the evening. And what's his name? The former third vice chairman of the NPP, Omariwa, there was on. And he defended it like... He defended it with every nerve in him, that there's nothing wrong with it, and that it was a realism. It was truth. So for him to have come out to apologize, what comes of all the things that you have said? Yes. So I mean, my problem is that is it because you owe allegiance to a political party, then you become a robot?
That is what is called.
You become a robot.
The spirit of party. That is what George Washington spoke about 1796. It's called the baneful effect of the spirit of party.
You see, they don't even make any reasonable excuse for it. He was taken over by the momentum, something. But they defend it and tell you that there is nothing wrong with it.
Some of them, if they come and beat even their family members, they will come and glorify it.
Bless to the extent
shameless bootleggers.
To the extent that the man himself doubled down on what he said.
Yes.
When he had opportunity to, the next day he doubled down on what he said. Yeah. So what apology is for what? It's for what? You see, this packaging and repackaging of people who were in this country when somebody was repackaged and sold to us. After he was repackaged, he also repackaged himself. In other words, he removed the packaging, and his real self is now telling us in the face.
Right. I read two more messages. Laji Hamza from Pig Farm says, "Good morning, my good brother. Dr. Bawumia is all over the place calling for a debate between him and President Mahama. The question here is that what is there to debate? Dr. Bawumia is only trying hard to use President Mahama to redeem his image. I will be so disappointed in President Mahama and his managers if they accept to debate Dr. Bawumia. Debating Dr. Bawumia is an act of disrespect to President Mahama. Dr. Bawumia is over there insulting and attacking the person of President Mahama. He even went ahead to say President Mahama is an empty barrel. God have mercy. Bless. I have to reserve my comment for another day." Thank you very much, Alhaji Hamza, for your message.
Let me make it abundantly clear. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a permanently damaged good. He's damaged goods.
Yeah, nothing will save him.
Nothing can wash him clean or redeem him.
I mean. Yeah.
That's why I've said that it's like a house that has fallen. You don't ask whether the roof is still standing.
No serious.
It's gone with it.
Bless.
And I think that Ghanaians are serious-minded people. Nobody. That's why I pray to Almighty Allah on this Friday. He should not inflict us with another national disaster.
Right.
In the name of our
right. Bless, but no serious country will entertain such a person. Yeah. I mean, with all the things he said prior to 2016 election, and what is happening? No, you see.
Serious-minded country will take this
No. It's sad. It's sad the way we've allowed politics to destroy us, and we allow it to continue to destroy us.
How much is the dollar to?
Yeah. Our time is up. We need to go. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
What I just want to urge is that I want to salute my brother and their movement for the good works they are doing, and to take that opportunity to say that all those of us working for change must have a way of galvanizing forces to boot out this hopelessly uninspiring government and find a way to work together. And I applaud especially the sense of having a government, a semblance of a government of national unity, where this winner takes all thing is done. So those of us who have that synergy of looking at things in another way to get a transformative change for this country must find a way to work together and begin to see how in the government of President Mahama in 2025, by his grace.
Why not President?
Whatever.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Alaji. And thank you to our viewers. Tomorrow is Alaji and Alaji at 9 a.m. exactly. Alaji and Alaji will be on. I'm sure this apology would be up for conversation and other issues as well. But I'll catch you Monday on the morning show. Do have a pleasant weekend. Bye-bye.
Truly African.